A band of showers and thunderstorms is heading directly for Western Australia right now. It is Monday morning, the 2nd of June, and let's get into the details with this severe weather update. We're going to start with satellite imagery where we can see what is going on. Look at how the cloud is revolving around a point here in the middle, the centre of rotation. That is our low pressure centre, and that is still quite a long way away from the country, the best part of 1,000 kilometres or so, but there are bands of showers and storms spinning out of that low, including this leading band here, which is a cold front, which is not that far away from the country, about to move its way onto Western Australia. There are some showers and some storms caught up in that front, which will be arriving fairly soon. Let's switch away from what we've seen happen to the forecast for what is likely to happen through the rest of Monday. And once we get into the afternoon and then the evening, we'll see the wet and stormy weather moving onto the west coast, really all the way from the corner of the Pilbara and the Gascoyne, down through the central west, the lower west, into the southwest, and even some of these southern districts as well. One of the primary impacts as this works onto the country today is going to be thunderstorms, and in particular the risk is there for some severe thunderstorms. So I thought what better to show than the thunderstorm outlook map for Monday. The green areas highlight where we could see thunderstorms today, but in particular I want to draw your attention to the yellow areas, which is where we may see severe thunderstorms. And this is really hugging the west coast from Jurien Bay down past Margaret River down to the south coast here. And this does include the far western suburbs of Perth, but perhaps not up into the hills and out to the eastern suburbs. Severe thunderstorms can be classified as such for a variety of reasons, and today it looks like the most likely impact would be damaging wind gusts. So here's a couple of the impacts which we may see if these storms ramp up later on Monday. Damage to trees and branches, and of course they can then fall down onto cars, fences, or even property. We could potentially see power outages if those winds interact with power lines, and there is the chance for some areas of heavy rainfall as well. It's not only wind which could cause an issue, and that may lead to areas of flash flooding where those storms do occur. This is all happening on Monday, but it's not just a one-day weather event. If we go back to the map for Tuesday, we'll see something quite similar. Our initial band pushes inland, but that's followed up by this further mix of showers and storms and cold winds onto the southwest coast, which is going to last right through Tuesday and in fact into Wednesday. So another stormy day on Tuesday, and this time we see a couple of different areas impacted as some of that rain pushes inland. So our map for Tuesday looks a little bit different. It covers a much larger area with that storm potential stretching well inland through the wheat belt up until the likes of Kalgoorlie, Boulder, even down to the Esperance coastline. But the risk of severe storms, that still hugs the west coast, mostly south of Perth this time around, perhaps the southern suburbs of Perth down past Margaret River. And it looks like on Tuesday, that rainfall could be one of the major issues if we see those storms ramp up here. And I would like to finish with a word on rain, because it's certainly at the front of mind at the moment. Lots of people actually looking for rain, and this is going to bring some of the more significant rain that we have seen over the last couple of months. But the first thing we're going to notice as we zoom in, this is not uniform. It is going to be very different how much rainfall you get depending on where you live, and by far the most significant accumulations are going to hug that west coast. From Perth down to the far southwest, we could easily see 50 to 100 millimetres between Monday and Wednesday, potentially even more than that in a few locations, especially if those thunderstorms ramp up. Through the agricultural and growing regions, a little bit inland through the Great Southern and the Wheat Belt, even down towards the south coast, the rainfall is much patchier and the totals are lower. Anywhere between 5 and 25 millimetres possible through these areas here, but it is not going to be consistent. It does depend on where those showers and storms move, with some places getting much more than others. But do keep an eye on both the weather warnings as well as the radar to see how that rain is tracking through the first few days of the week. We'll keep you updated on our social media channels too. Have a safe day.